Okay, so let's get started. Equations of all kinds of lines. We're continuing this from Monday, right? We're looking at different types of lines and like horizontal lines, vertical lines, slope-intercept lines, and differentiating them and creating equations for them. So just kind of finishing up what we did on Monday, clarifying some stuff and answering questions. Today is a good day for that. So definitely be super engaged. Expectations, right? Let's be in the Nearpod only. Always be answering the questions in the Nearpod, asking questions, offering to come off mute and read. Whatever you can do to make this feel more productive today would be absolutely great. Okay, let's write equations for vertical and horizontal lines. So warm up today, we're going to practice determining equations for different kind of lines. So just developing what we learned on Monday. And in your Nearpods, you can answer this question. Does this line have a positive or negative slope? And you can just enter that in your Nearpod. And I'll stop sharing my screen. Jose, you got this one right. Can you describe what kind of line this is and how you could tell?
Me?
Yes, go for it.
So I got I just put negative because like you said, the way is leaning.
Yeah.
It's in the it's I don't know how to say it.
Slanting?
Yeah, to the other side where it does not start on that
Yeah.
side.
Nice. Yep.
Well,
We're
and I just guessed.
okay. So we can also tell because our y-intercept at the starting point is 5, and then our ending point is -5. So we can also tell that that's decreasing. We're decreasing on our y-axis. Good. And then Kenya also put that strategy like if you pretend to write a word on it, if that word is slanting down, you know it's negative. That's what Miss West told us. Okay, let's keep going. Good job. A ton of people got this right, so super happy with that. Nice, Carmen. Oops. Nice. Okay, let's have JD. Will you come off mute? I see you got the right answer. It looks perfect. And explain how you got this about what is the slope of this line.
The answer I put is 0, and I got 0 because the line is horizontal, so it doesn't have a slope.
Perfect. So well said. I'm glad you used good vocab too. Use slope, horizontal line. Recognized that this has no steepness to it. Remember, slope is the steepness of a line. So our slope would be 0. Perfect. Okay, one more question for a warm-up. And then last question, what is the x-intercept of this line? Cherry, if you'll share what you got for this one, how you got it, and then also what you sent to me in the chat, because I think that's super great that you remembered that. So if you'll come off mute and share for us your thoughts on this.
My thoughts on it is that I knew that like the slope was unidentified, and I knew that the line was on like the middle of 6 and 8, so I knew it was 7.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So this is what we call our x-intercept. Let me show you something. And she's absolutely right. This is an undefined slope. So that means in our equation, we're not going to have a slope. Undefined, if I can write that. I'm just not even try that, but just know that what I'm saying. So yeah, undefined slope. And then our x-intercept is the point where our line crosses the x-axis, right, which is right here. And that point would be right here because it's where it crosses through. And so that we'll just say that's 7 because it's right between 6 and 8. And a lot of people got that. So it would be when it crosses this line. A line. These are what we reviewed and first learned on Monday. Slope intercept we've been using this y equals mx plus b. Hopefully it sounds familiar, especially the amount of times I've asked you what does m mean and what does b mean. And we've just been using it in our linear graphs and our proportional graphs because those graphs do have slopes we need to find, right? And set y-intercepts, so that b and the m. But yeah, we just learned vertical lines, which it's an x equals a equation where a is our x-intercept. So for that question we just did in warm up where the x-intercept was 7, because the line was just crossing through 7, our equation would just be x equals 7. That's it. No y's need to be involved and no extra x's. And then for our horizontal equations, it's just going to be y equals b, where b is our y-intercept, which we already know because we've been using that in our slope-intercept equation as well. So just some reminder of our equations. Comments or questions about these? You're about to be able to do this work in your Nearpod, but you are going to determine the equations for each of these lines. So you're going to be able to draw on your screen. On your screen, you have all of these tools as well. If you want to use a certain color for drawing, you just click on this this like pencil figure, and you can choose green, and then for the green equation, you can write whatever it is. And then for the blue line, you'll just write that with the blue pen. All right, yep, 7 minutes, go for it. I see some people already working. Talk to your teammates, your group mates, coordinate answers. We'll talk about this once we're back.
Okay, so let's jump back into our Nearpods. Make sure you're staying there. I'm just going to share some really good work I found. Shout out to JD. Look at this really great work. She has all of her equations. Y equals 4, x equals 6, y equals -2, and x equals -1. And she even marked our intercept points between the axis, so our y and x axis, the black lines, with our colored lines. She marked those, so that looks perfect, JD. Really, really good work. And Aitza's also looks very nice. She used the text box, it looks like, to write x equals 6, y equals 4, x equals -1, and y equals -2. Perfect, perfect. Let's talk about how we got these. So first of all, let's remember that, let's remember our equations. So our equations, so Aitza, will you come off mute and tell me our equation for a vertical line and a horizontal line? Okay, or Kenya, what's our equation for a vertical line?
Sorry, teacher, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I took a picture of it. I'm gonna go and look at it.
Okay, that's okay.
So what's the equation of a vertical line?
Yeah, what's the equation of a vertical line?
X equals A.
X equals A, perfect. So this is, I'm gonna do vertical, and then what's horizontal?
Horizontal is Y equals B.
Perfect, okay. So this is my vertical line. Thanks, Kenya, for sharing. And where my A, we're gonna keep our X as is, but our A is going to be our x-intercept. And then Y equals B is our horizontal line, where our B is our y-intercept. We're gonna leave our y as is and our x as is. And remember, when I ask for equations, it should always be in an x equals or a y equals form, not just a number and not a line. Horizontal, okay, writing this in. There we go. All right, so now we're remembering these equations. I'm gonna first start, and I'm gonna go to my equations, and I'm gonna check, is this line horizontal or vertical? So is this red line, Ruben, is this red line, is it horizontal or vertical?
It is vertical.
It's not vertical, it's horizontal. So horizontal lines, remember, they're flat. So this is a horizontal line, so it's gonna be y equals, and then that means that this blue line's horizontal too. So I'm gonna do y equals as well. Okay, and then Leilani, is this green line, is it horizontal or vertical?
Vertical?
Vertical, perfect. So I'm gonna do x equals. And then that means this yellow line is 2 because they're parallel, x equals. And then now I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna find all of my intercepts. So my intercept for this red line is where it crosses the y-axis. And we can see it crosses at this point 4. So now I'm going to do y equals 4 because this is where the line crosses through the y-axis. And then for my green line, it crosses the x-axis, right? The x-axis at -1, right? 4. And then, so now my equation is going to be x equals -1. And then next I have my blue line, which crosses the y-axis because it's y equals, and it crosses at a point of -2. And so then my equation is going to be y equals -2. And then finally, my yellow line crosses the x-axis at a point of 6. And so now my equation is going to be y equals 6. Okay, so here's the cool down for today. Super similar to the activity we just did, and it gives you 5 lines, and then you're just supposed to find the equations for each of these lines. So make sure you remember the equations, and if you need me to go back to the equation slide, I can. And then yeah, just type your answers in the boxes below. So first decide if this line, like make sure you're looking if these lines are vertical lines, horizontal, or slope intercept lines, meaning that it has a slope and a y-intercept. Other than that, the link's in the chat so we can all jump into it. I'll make sure. If anyone needs